Active Network Management, or ANM, is where distribution network operators, or DNOs, can restrict generators by controlling their connection to the grid. DNOs may want to do this at times of peak demand or when substations are at their limits. The first thing to note is that all ANM systems are different. They depend on the individual connection agreement between the generator and the DNO. However, each ANM system serves the same purpose. ANM prevents power flows from reaching their limits and affecting the networks. For generators or batteries, there is an upside. Active Network Management allows assets to connect to the DNO more quickly than they would otherwise be able to, and at a lower cost. ANM systems generally work in 3 stages, each assigned to a specific piece of hardware. A piece of monitoring equipment sends network information, such as power flows or available capacity, to a central system, which in turn sends instructions to generators to change their output. Lastly, control equipment at the generation sites reduces or increases output, depending on need. At times of potential capacity overload, ANM reduces generator output. One potential problem for owners and operators arises when this happens, as generators aren't financially compensated for this period. Restriction on export is known as curtailment. ANM systems rarely enact curtailment, so it's rarely an issue. However, as curtailment could theoretically be enacted at any time, generators with ANM connections are sort of at its mercy. So how does this affect assets taking part in, for example, frequency response services? To work out how much of a generator's output must be curtailed, DNOs carry out curtailment assessments. Curtailment assessments are then used by a National Grid Electricity System Operator, or ESO, as part of the process to decide whether a given generator would be a suitable participant in its balancing services. Curtailment assessments simulate ANM behaviour across specific timeframes to provide an estimate of the occurrence and severity of ANM actions on generators, including an estimation of megawatt-hour curtailment across the given time period. The curtailment assessment is then based on the worst-case scenario. Therefore, despite a relatively slim chance of curtailment actually happening, the ESO still has to assume that the worst-case scenario may take place at any time, which could mean a potential barrier to entry for certain services for assets with ANM connection. Make sure to like, follow and subscribe. See you next time.